All right, here we go. Review. This is unit, I don't know where unit we're on, I guess. Unit 6, maybe? Unit 6 assessment. So find the sum of the measures of the interior angles of a complex polygon. Remember the formula that we use to find this. It's the number of sides minus 2 times 180. So we've got 17 times 2, 17 minus 2 times 180. So that's 15. So 15 times 180 is 2,700. It's the measures of all of the interior angles. The next one is a hexagon. So the first thing you need to figure out is remember how many sides that a hexagon has. A hexagon has 6 sides. So that's the number of sides minus 2 times 180. So 4 times 180. Glad you can read my writing. And 720 is the answer for that one. The next question says, find the measure of each interior angle of a convex polygon. So we're going to go with these are regular polygons. So we're going to do it the same way. So an octagon has 8 sides. So it's going to be 8 minus 2 times 180. So 6 times 180. Now this number represents all of them. Okay, so all of the angles added together have to be 1,080. If we want it to be a regular convex polygon, it has 8 sides, so we want all the angles to be the same. So if we take that number and divide it by 8, that's going to give us the measure of each of them individually. So number 4, again, all of them, 15 minus 2 times 180, so 13 times 180. That's 2340. We're talking about each of them. That means since there are 15 sides, there are 15 angles. So we divide by 15, you get 156 is your solution. Find the measure of each interior angle, given the information. So the first thing I had to figure out is to figure out how many sides it has. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So at 5 sides, I got to figure out, okay, what's the measure of all of them have to be? So it's just like we did above, 5 minus 2 times 180, so 3 times 180, you got a pentagon. So we know they all have to add up to 540. Okay, so I'm just going to take all the angles and I'm going to add them up. So I've got 132. I'm going to move this. I'm going to run out of room quickly. I've got 132 plus 4x minus 10 plus 5x minus 11 plus 128 plus 4x plus 2. That has to equal 540. So if we combine our like terms, we've got 5x, 4x, and 4x. That's 13 x's. We've got 132 minus 10 minus 11 plus 128 plus 2. I got 241. So that's got to equal 540. So now we have to solve that equation. I'm going to go ahead and move this all again so I have a little bit more room. So we're going to subtract 241. So 540 minus 241. I got 13x equals 299 divided by 13. I got x equals 23. And that's our solution, 23. The next one is the exterior angles. They're on the outside, so all of the exterior angles always add up to 360 degrees. So I'm going to take all of these, 5n plus 4n plus 3n plus 2n plus n, add them together, they have to be 360. So 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15n. Combining the like terms, divide by 15. 360 divided by 15 is 24. Find the measure of each interior angle. Well, we've got the x value. So because it only said x equals down there and n equals there, I kind of missed the directions. The directions say find the measure of each interior angle for them, or each interior using the given information. I'm just going to go with let's find the value of x, and we'll call that good. If we needed to, we just plug it in there. 4 times 23 minus 10, 5 times 23, and so on and so forth. Number 7, use the parallelogram ABCD, so I know it's a parallelogram, so we have to use all the properties of parallelograms. So opposite sides are parallel, opposite sides are congruent, the diagonals bisect each other, consecutive angles are supplementary, and opposite angles are congruent. So we want to find angle BCD. So remember, that's our middle one. So we've got those two angles right there are 22 and 86. So 22 plus 86 is going to give us the whole thing. So 22 plus 86 is 108. Question number 8 asks us for ABC. So ABC is this whole angle right here. I'll draw that again with the highlighter. ABC is right there. So I want to know the measure of that angle. So by rule, consecutive angles have to add up to 180. Okay. So I know this one from question number 7 is 108. So if I go 108, I go 180 minus 108, that's 72. That's the measure of both of those angles together, 72 degrees. Next one is ADC. ADC is that angle right there. Opposite angles in a parallelogram are congruent, so since we know that ABC is 72, ADC also has to be 72. And the last question asks us to find the value of x. X is right there. So that's one side. We know the opposite side is 56. So opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. So 2x equals 56. 56 divided by 2 gives us x is equal to 28. And those are our solutions. Question number 11 tells us it's a rectangle. So we got all of those properties that we've got for rectangles. So for the first one, it says UZ is 7x minus 10. I'm just going to write it right there. And ZS is 6x plus 7. Okay, so the diagonals bisect each other. So the diagonals are going to be the same. So for this one, we're going to go 7x minus 10 is equal to 6x plus 7. Add 10 to both sides. You get 7x equals 6x plus 17. Subtract 6x. So you get x is equal to 17. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, now for the next question, these things become irrelevant. We don't need them for question number 12. Question number 12 reads, I'm going to change colors here. Question number 12 says that RZ is 3x plus 8 and ZT is 29. So just like before, the diagonals bisect each other, so they have to equal each other. Subtract 8 from both sides. That gives me 21. Divide by 3, you get 7. All right, question 13, 14, and 15. They ask us to use a rhombus. So I'm going to go ahead and write these in here. So this is 4x plus 7. And this is 8x minus 1. PK is 6Z, and YK, don't have room, is 9Z minus 12. Okay, so the diagonals bisect each other. So we want to find the distance from P to Y. So think about what we want to do here. We want to find this whole distance. Well, I know the diagonals bisect each other, so those two things have to be equal. So 6Z is going to be 9Z minus 12. Subtract 9Z. That gives us negative 3Z equals negative 12. So we get Z is equal to 4. So I got my Z value as 4, but the question wants the distance from P to Y. So if I substitute 4 in there, 6 times 4 is 24. If this is 24, that has to be 24. So the whole thing for PY is going to be 24 plus 24, which gives us a nice number, 48. RZ, kind of the same way. We're going to set them equal to each other first. 4x plus 7 has to equal 8x minus 1. I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. That gives me 7 is equal to 4x minus 1. Add 1. We get an x value of 2. Now it wants the distance from R to Z, which is this whole thing. So if I plug it in, so 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. So the length of that is 15, making that the length of 15. So we get 15 plus 15 is 30. So ultimately the questions that were asked for are here and here. And the last question asks us to find the measure of YKR. So that's this angle right here. In a rhombus, the diagonals are perpendicular, so that's going to be 90 degrees. And you're done. So there's the first page. Let's go on to the second page. Okay, now we're into the trapezoid. So really kind of the first part of the chapter, kind of going back here a little bit. It says for the trapezoid ABC, find the measure of A and D, and find the length of the mid-segment. The mid-segment's not in there, but we're going to put it there, so it's right there. So remember in a trapezoid, the leg angles here. Until it's an isosceles trapezoid, it doesn't matter anyway. So the leg angles add up to 180, and the base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are the same. So angle B is easy. That's 110 degrees. To find angle D, the leg angles have to add up to 180. So 180 minus 110 is 70 degrees. To find the mid-segment, remember it's 1/2 of the sum of the two bases. So that's going to be half of 44, which is 22. So there are your 3 solutions for that one. The next one. Okay, now in this one, again, we've got a trapezoid. It's at the midpoint, so it doesn't tell us that it's not isosceles. It's just a trapezoid. And you can see it's not isosceles because these are different. So the first one is to find the midpoint. Remember when we did midpoint, we kind of looked and said, what's the difference? The difference in that from 9 to 14 is 5. 9 plus 5 is 14. So 14 plus 5 is going to give us AD, which is 19. The leg angles have to add up to 180. So 180 minus 118. 180 minus 118 is 62. And then same thing over here to find angle D. It's 180 minus 107, which is 73 degrees. So there are your 3 solutions for that one. Number 18, we got an isosceles trapezoid. I know it's isosceles because we got these 2 parallel and those 2 congruent. So the diagonals are congruent. So the distance from G to E is 2x plus 10. That has to equal the distance for there. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So 10 is equal to 2x minus 4. Add 4, so 14 is equal to 2x. So x is equal to 7, but that's not the question. It says what is GE? So GE is 2x plus 10, so we know it's 7. So 2 times 7 plus 10, 14 plus 10 is 24. And you're done. Question number 19. What is the measure of D to B? So we have a kite now. So in a kite, this diagonal bisects. So this distance is 6 as well. 6 plus 6 is equal to 12. There's your solution. Bell rang. Kids are coming in, talking to a computer. They're trying to figure out what the heck's going on. The last one, we've got a kite. So we know the measure of this is 56 degrees. The measure of that is 90. So that's going to help me find that angle right there, which is also going to help me find that angle right there. They're going to be the same. So if I go 180 minus 56 minus 90, that's giving me the measure of that angle right there is 34. The measure of that angle is 34. So if I got first one is WPZ. That in a rhombus, that in a kite has to be 90. The next one is WZ, where's Z at? WZX. So WZX, we just said that was 34. The next one is WXY. Well, we know that one's 34, and that one has to be 67 because it's going to be the same as that one. So 34 plus 67 is 101. And then the last one it's asking for is X, Y, Z. Okay, so with X, Y, Z, we know this one has to be 56, and we know all of these angles here, 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 and here have to add up to 180, or have to add up to 360 because it has 4 sides. So if I go 360, we know that adds up to 101. So 101, 56 plus 56 is 112. So I'm going to subtract 112. And we know that angle up there is also 101. So 360 minus 101 minus 112 minus 101 gives us the measure of that angle. It's 46 degrees. There you go. There's the review.